Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Packers $6.5 million starter named top trade option for Steelers. The Green Bay Packers might prefer having an overflow in their wide receiver room heading into the start of OTAs, but their tune could change about starter Romeo Doubs if the Pittsburgh Steelers come calling in the weeks ahead. Last week, the Steelers traded away controversial starting wide receiver George Pickens along with a 2027 sixth-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 third-round selection and a 2027 fifth-rounder. The trade followed an earlier off-season move in which the Steelers acquired DK Metcalf and signed him to a $150 million extension. After trading Pickens, though, the Steelers are looking at a diminished receiving core. Metcalf provides them with a proven number 1 receiver, but their options for the number 2 role include Calvin Austin III, veteran Robert Woods and 2024 Day 2 pick Roman Wilson. The Steelers will naturally want to see how their current personnel perform in OTAs. If they reach June and continue to have uncertainties about the position group, though, Bleacher Report's Adam Wells believes they could fix their sights on Doubs, especially if the Steelers choose to sign former Packers starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers. There has been no definitive indication that the Packers are shopping Doubs in a trade, but he could bring back some value for a team that did use a lot of draft capital on receivers, Wells wrote on May 7 following the Pickens trade. Doubs is also entering the final season of his rookie contract with a $3.6 million cap hit, so it wouldn't be difficult for other teams to fit him on the roster. A team like the Steelers, that will pick up additional draft capital when the Pickens trade is finalized, could take a swing on Doubs. Doubs has been a popular hypothetical trade candidate since before the Packers drafted 2 wide receivers in the first 2 days of the 2025 NFL Draft. Not only is he entering the final year of his $6.59 million rookie contract, but he is also coming off a somewhat middling 2024 season for the Packers in which he also had an off-the-field issue. For those rooting for such a trade, though, ESPN's Peter Schrager warns his talks with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur suggest it will not happen before the 2025 season. With the Steelers trading Pickens, there's a lot of rumors about Doubs and his relationship to Rodgers, who praised him as a rookie, and I'm here to tell you, LaFleur was like, "Romeo Doubs is great in our building," Schrager told the Pat McAfee show on May 8. So, I don't think one of those Packers receivers is being shipped, either. I think the Packers are really happy with their young wide receiver room. Even if the Packers are not shopping Doubs on the trade market, questions linger about his long-term future with the team as he prepares for the final year of his rookie deal. The Packers must decide whether they want to sign him to a new contract before next March and are likely already deep in the process of evaluating his long-term fit. He has started 35 games for them over his first 3 seasons and projects to start once again in 2025, but he has not yet exceeded 700 yards in a season and may still stand on uneasy ground with the team after his conduct drew him a 1-game suspension in 2024. Additionally, the Packers have prepared their roster for his potential departure. They have Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wick signed through the 2026 season and just added first-rounder Matthew Golden and third-rounder Savion Williams last month, giving them options if either he or Christian Watson, or both, don't return after 2025. Of course, Doubs could change the narrative if he has a breakout season in 2025. The Packers have a wide array of receiving options that include tight ends Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, but Doubs is the most experienced pass catcher on the roster and could realistically solidify himself as Love's number 1 receiving target if the Packers' offense takes a step forward and focuses its target shares a little bit more than in the past. If Doubs exceeds 1,000 yards and properly breaks out in 2025, the Packers would have a more difficult time letting him go and might feel foolish if they decided prematurely. Jets schedule which sees Justin Fields get primetime revenge game. Justin Fields was moved on from the Pittsburgh Steelers and found a home with the New York Jets as he looks to reignite his struggling career. The former first-round pick has bounced from the Chicago Bears to the Steelers and now the Jets as he looks to finally cash in on the glimpses of talent we have seen over his first couple of years in the league. In what is somewhat of an ironic twist, Fields will face the Steelers in 2025 at MetLife Stadium, but we will know when and where until the NFL releases its full schedule later in the week. But if the Jets had a schedule wish, CBS Sports thinks it would be a prime-time revenge game for Fields against the Steelers. A primetime home game against Pittsburgh, so Justin Fields can take on the team that let him walk, CBS Sports writes. That would make for quite the spectacle, and Fields would no doubt want to get one over the team that thought it was better to go with Russell Wilson last season after he was 4-2 as the starter, and then thought it was better to go ahead with Mason Rudolph and others in 2025. That will surely stick in Justin's mind. So what better way than to face the team under the bright lights of prime time and hopefully show them what they're missing? Justin has a clean path in 2025 with the Jets already announcing him as the starter for Tanner Engstrand's offense, but Fields will want to show the rest of the NFL world that he isn't another first-round talent to go quietly into that good night. He's gotten a chance in New York, and he might just do a number on the team that gave up on him a year ago as he looks to kickstart his NFL career in the Big Apple. Aaron Rodgers signing announcement predicted as wild NFL schedule rumor. Aaron Rodgers continues to loom over what has been a roller coaster offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The veteran quarterback has yet to make a final decision on his career path for this season, with many believing he is down to retirement or joining the Steelers for 1 year. Since the offseason started and this connection was in its infant stages, the Steelers have traded for DK Metcalf and traded away George Pickens, brought in a new class of rookies and navigated some cryptic social media posts from TJ Watt. Now, the Steelers have organized team activities set to begin on May 27, but no solid answer for their quarterback position. As of now, Mason Rudolph will get the nod as QB1, seeing that he is the best option by default. Rodgers has operated on his own timeline entirely, so it's hard to anticipate when his final decision will come. However, Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk has continued to theorize that the league's schedule release will factor into Rodgers' timing. Florio, wild as ever, has posited that announcing his decision afterward would save the Steelers some unwarranted time in the spotlight. Now, Florio has tossed the idea of Rodgers upstaging the event entirely. There's one other possibility that would be hilarious if it happens. We've caught wind of the chance, and we have no idea how realistic it is, that Rodgers could announce or leak his plans at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time or so on Wednesday, upstaging the schedule release planned for 15 minutes later. Could Rodgers decide that for himself? With his personality and this saga revolving entirely around him, it is certainly plausible. But there is a little too much focus on the schedule here. It's hard to imagine Rodgers, who has shared his own bold claims through various channels the last few years, would suddenly go camera shy. And frankly, Rodgers' addition should not add much stock to the Steelers as a team deserving a prime-time spot. Just the name alone does the job in a few spots, and the Steelers have players worthy of that standalone attention. Rodgers' decision to join them at any time should have him aware of that. That OTA date seems a bit more realistic, but again, Rodgers is not tossing out any hints, so his return could come at any time or simply not at all. And you, fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Write in the comments.